Hey everybody, welcome to Hash It Out. I am your host, RJ Balde. In this episode, I'll be talking to Chelsea and Josh Backman about how they launched a hemp company at the start of a global pandemic. We'll also talk about the process of achieving USDA organic certification, setting responsible business intentions, and more. Without further ado, it's time to hash it out. My guests today are the co-founders of the organic hemp company Vitality Farms. Welcome to the show, Chelsea and Josh Backman. Am I pronouncing that last name right? Is it Backman, Backman? Okay, got you. Welcome, Josh and Chelsea. Thank you so much for joining me. How are y'all?
Thank you. We're doing great.
You're doing great, man.
Good.
Really happy to be here.
Yeah. Thankful for you guys to take the time out. Now, we're recording this exactly 2 weeks into the new year. So how has 2021 been treating you so far? Hopefully, at least an incremental improvement from last year, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. 2020 was a ride. I think it was a ride for everybody. But, we're here. We're in business. We're healthy. We're happy, thankful. Yeah. And just looking forward to a prosperous 2021, kind of getting back to normal, so to speak.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. Hopefully with that, with the vaccine distribution, hopefully that ramps up and gets on track. That would be nice. So then we can, get closer to that light at the end of the tunnel. But I'm glad to hear everyone's been healthy. You've been fortunate enough to have your health throughout the past year. I hope. Is that been the case? Okay, good.
We have.
Yes.
Good, right on.
We have.
Yeah. Thankfully, neither of us have gotten COVID.
Good.
So really appreciative and grateful for that. But it's just been such strange times that, we're living
And I
right
understand
now.
that you two are parents as well. You have children?
We have a daughter. She's 8 months old. So new parents.
She's a COVID baby.
Very little sleep.
How's that? Yeah,
bear with
no
me.
problem. No problem at all. No problem at all. If you ever have to step away to tend to the child, no problem at all. How has been you're 8 months into your parenthood. You are, like you said, new parents in the age of the coronavirus. You have what I like to call a coronial generation baby.
There you go.
So how has that been balancing, the new parenthood vibe along with running Vitality Farms? I imagine maybe you're doing a lot of your work from home lately. So how has that work and home balance been for you?
Well, what's interesting is we actually have spent a lot of time in an RV. So during harvest and even during a little bit before that. So I guess like 3 months after I had Abigail, we went to the farm. So we've been living in an RV for a large part of her life. So being home has really felt really nice. We have lots of space, great connection. But it has just been really uncomfortable, if I'm being honest, just because you have to be so conscious about every little thing, and not even just you have to think about other people and what they're doing and who they're hanging out with and if they're being safe. So it has felt very uncomfortable. Do you have anything to add?
Well, I'll say Chelsea's made it look easy. I'm
the
one that's in over my head a lot of the time. She makes it look super simple. She's a great mother, great partner in this business. And honestly, having her as such a strong mother and partner is as weird as this may have been this year. It's made it achievable, so to speak. And
very sweet.
we get through it. So
well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that y'all are rolling with the punches and finding those pockets of sunshine where you need to. And I'm sure Abigail is a massive source of that sunshine right now. So congratulations to you both.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. No
Thank
problem.
You so much.
Now tell me all about Vitality Farms. When did the company start? And what made you both want to enter the hemp industry?
Yeah, so we actually, it started in February of this past year.
Wow.
Right before the lockdowns.
Yeah, like right before
Great
COVID actually
timing.
happened.
Yeah.
We're so grateful.
Woo.
We were even able to close on the farm. And yeah, I think, do you have anything else to add to that?
No, I mean, we kind of got the business up and running right under the gun, right before things got weird, and got our plan together. A little bit about who we are. We're USDA organic certified hemp farm located in the San Luis Valley, Southern Colorado.
Yeah.
And kind of the why behind us, I think like anybody in this industry, we believe in the plant. We believe in the power of the plant. We feel like knowing the source of your hemp, knowing where it's grown is very important. And so getting into this industry, we wanted to know our source. We wanted to make a difference. And I think the difference that we're making and we're trying to make is to be, that high quality, consistent source for organic hemp on scale. There are a lot of smaller boutique organic farms in the country, and we're trying to do it on a large scale, attract some of the larger brands, and really develop the organic supply chain as this market matures.
For sure. Now, you mentioned that you started in February of last year. So y'all opened up right before everything else closed. So what was that like? Was this a planned? Were you planning to launch during February, like regardless of what was going on? Well, I mean, I don't imagine you were anticipating a pandemic in 2019. None of us were. So,
right.
Yeah,
I'll tell you a quick story. I guess we closed on the farm. We got the business together, closed on the farm at the end of February. And I remember we were flying back from Colorado to Nashville, where we live, and things were starting to get weird, right? You were starting to hear about it. We were on the flight kind of looking around like, can somebody have COVID on this flight? Who just kind of heard about it. And then we got back, and then things got obviously weird real quick. Luckily, our plan was in place. Our team was in place. The farm was in place. And for us, if you'd have told us in February that we'd still be dealing with this now, I don't know that we would have went to full steam ahead as we did. But at the time, we're like, hey, we're going to get through this. We're going to figure it out, roll up our sleeves, get to work, and do this as safely and effectively as possible.
Totally.
And that's what we've done.
And what has it been like to what's it been like to launch a brand and launch a company during a pandemic, particularly in the cannabis and or hemp space? Because, whether it be receiving aid from the government or sales spikes during the pandemic, how has the events of the past year, how has that affected the launch of your business, and how is it affecting your game plan going forward into this year?
I think I speak to that a little bit. You brought up government assistance. The thing about government assistance that some people may not realize is a lot of the assistance out there is based on 2019 numbers. So, what your revenue was in 2019, what your acreage was in 2019, and we didn't exist in 2019. And so we're not eligible for a lot of that. And that's one of the things that I think there's a lot of people feeling that this year, right? Is all this stuff is based on the year prior, not what happened this year. Now we're a year into it, and people are really struggling trying to get some of that aid. So that's been, something we can't take advantage of, and we know that. On the farm side of things, we're pretty remote, which is nice. It seems like being in the city is a little more uncomfortable than being out at the farm. The farm's been a breath of fresh air during this. You go out, you're in nature, there's nobody around, you don't really have to think about it.
Sounds beautiful.
So it's been our safe haven, so to speak. But then the traveling part's been hard. Typically we would do trade shows. We would do, multiple trips back and forth to the farm. To Chelsea's point, we did some RVing this year rather than flying, which was cool. We got to take our daughter, and we were all together and safe that way. But you're just having to think about business just a little bit different. And there's a big push on the e-commerce side as well now, with retail being down as a result of COVID.
Yeah, you mentioned that your travel has been affected because you're usually, going to trade shows and the like. Have you participated in any of like the virtual events, and how do those compare? Because I hear good things and bad things. I've been to a couple myself, so I have my own personal opinions about them. Have you partaken in any, and what have been your impressions of them, if so?
Yeah, so we did a couple. We did the NOCO Hemp Expo. We just did the NJ Biz.
Yeah.
Back in December.
Which is definitely different.
It is different. Yeah, usually you're there, you're networking, maybe go grab a drink, some dinner, continue the conversation. This is very obviously computer focused. I think it is more focused though. You don't get maybe as distracted as you're trying to walk through an exhibit hall or getting pulled into this conversation or that conversation. You kind of get direct and to the point. We've been fortunate. We made some good connections this year. So, I mean, they have been effective networking with processors and distributors and things like that. So, we make the best of it. Just like anybody else. Look forward to getting back in person. I would much rather do it in person.
Oh, but, totally. Yeah, no doubt. I'm definitely, I enjoy my solitude for sure, but I have found a newfound appreciation for like being in the same room with a person. I didn't know how much I missed that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That human connection. Because like at the beginning of the pandemic, I was like, well, this is great. I'm glad, not great, but like it's great that we're living in this age of technology during this time, because at least we still have avenues to connect with one another. And I sort of rode that for like the first half of the pandemic. I was like, this is fine. I could see everyone through a screen and still connect with people and like still have my solitude and like not have to worry about, driving anywhere to meet someone or having them come over and like clean my apartment or whatever. But now, I just really miss having that person in the room. You know what I mean? Like that physical presence just really can't be replaced. And I didn't realize that until the course of the year.
And it's odd too when you do see somebody. It's like, do you fist bump? Do you elbow bump? Do you shake hands? How do you even interact with the person? And that's been something.
Oh
that
man,
my
my in-person social skills have certainly atrophied over the year. I'm like I see people like I'll just be walking my dog and like we'll cross each other just on the sidewalk, and I'm like, do I look at you? Do I like wave at you? Do I need to like stay away from you, but then I don't want it to feel awkward, like I'm trying to like stay away from you? I don't know. It's a whole thing. Yeah. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
I hear you. Yeah.
So you mentioned that your farm is located in southern Colorado, is that right? Gotcha.
That's right.
So why do you feel as a hemp farmer that location is so important in terms of choosing where you want to start your operation? And why did you decide on southern Colorado?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want me to speak to that a little bit? Or?
Well, one of the things I'll say, and then definitely, we definitely wanted to be able to have a USDA certified organic farm. That was very important to us. We looked at a few different pieces of land, but we couldn't have got it certified. So that was a huge driving force starting out. And then being remote is really important. And Josh, you can talk about terpene drift and cross-pollination and all that.
Yeah, in this industry, remoteness can be a good thing from a privacy and security standpoint, number one. And to her point, pollen drift, terpene drift. The hemp plant is an amazing plant. You'd be amazed at how far away one hemp plant can pollinate another.
Yeah.
We're trying to deal in feminized seed and seedless crop. So it's important that there's not another hemp farm close to us. And two, you got to think about your climate, your growing conditions. Where we're at in the San Luis Valley, it's an alpine valley at about 7,800 feet. And I think it's the largest alpine valley in the world, actually. It's the size of Delaware, if you can imagine that. Just a big flat piece of land up in the mountains. And so our growing season is a little shorter. We have to worry about, early season frost, late season snow, some things like that. But overall, the conditions are right. It doesn't get too hot. It's fairly dry. So we're dependent on aquifers and surface water rights for irrigation. We don't have to worry about necessarily thunderstorms and being overwatered and things like that. So we have really tight water control, a really quality water source. Again, that remoteness. And then I think the other thing is the regulatory attitude in Colorado is very favorable. With the Farm Bill, obviously hemp with less than 0.3% THC is legal in the U.S. for commerce, but states still have various definitions of how you quantify that and how you go about that. And Colorado has always been, I think we all know, on kind of the front end of cannabis policy and cannabis regulation. So we feel like we're in a very safe spot from a regulatory standpoint. It's a hub for that industry. We have processors close by, marketing companies close by, distributions close by, and again, tight control over our grow, even in an outdoor environment. Which is important.
Wow, that area sounds beautiful. I don't get over to that state as much as I possibly want to, especially over the past year. But would definitely love to check that out someday because that sounds rad. Sounds,
come to the farm.
Man.
Come see us.
I'll take the breath of fresh air any chance I can get. That's for sure. I'm originally from a very rural part of Michigan, so like I grew up in like the forests, and I didn't grow up on a farm, but I like to say I grew up farm adjacent. So I was like in Farm Heights, you know what I mean? So like I heard the roosters. I heard the roosters, but I never had to tend to them, you know what I mean? So so I definitely love like being out in nature, being out in a wide open space too. So that sounds absolutely beautiful. You mentioned that one of your big, Chelsea, you mentioned this, one of your big decisions or one of your big reasons for deciding to be in Southern Colorado was because you wanted Vitality Farms to be USDA organic certified. So
yes,
can you just tell me and our viewers out there who may not know, what is the difference between products that are labeled organic, organically sourced, certified organic, and then USDA certified organic? How can one like differentiate?
So this is a very, controversial topic because I think all farmers have the best intentions, when they're going about trying to get, put anything on their products, whether it be organically sourced or USDA certified organic. But I guess the biggest differentiator between USDA certified organic and then all the other ones is the USDA certified organic. You have to abide by certain higher standards. You have to do a lot of things to maintain your certification and to get your certification. I mean, your land has to be completely clean for 3 years before you can even apply for this certification. So there's a lot of steps to take. And then in the process of taking those steps, there's some time. So it's not a quick thing. Yeah. And then also, there's audits. And Josh, you can probably speak more to that side of things. But it does take a lot of work.
Yeah, Chelsea hit on it. You've got to be, being USDA certified organic, there are limits to your inputs. So there's a restrictive list of what fertilizers you can use. You're not using any pesticides, any herbicides, things that could ultimately end up in the plant and the end product. To her point, you will be subject to audits. There is paperwork. It is somewhat cumbersome, but in the end, what do you get? You get consumer confidence. When you see that USDA certified organic seal on a product, you know that it adheres to those standards. And not just the grow. If you get a tincture or you get a gummy or whatever it may be, every step in that process has to be certified. And so maybe you'll see something that says organically sourced. It could have organic hemp in it, but maybe it's not an organic processor or an organic packager. So you're not taking that certification all the way to the end product. And for us, that is key. We want to be certified in everything we do from seed all the way forward.
Got you. So I see. So it's to reach full USDA certified organic, it's the whole process from start to finish. So yeah, damn, I can imagine that is quite laborious, but like you said, worth it in the end if you're going for consumer confidence and a high quality product. Was that a mission?
And I think it's important.
Please.
Yeah. It was a mission because, there's a lot of, this is a new industry in a lot of ways, right? Or a very young industry, we should call it. And there are a lot of products out some really great ones, some not so great ones. And as a consumer, how do you tell the difference? You go to any gas station, grocery store, these products are all over the place, and you really don't know where they come from. So for us, it's transparency, in who we are, where we are, what we stand for, and how we do things. And that's what that USDA certified organic seal means to us and ultimately to our consumers.
Totally. Yeah, I certainly agree with you. Like you said, there are a multitude of products out there that you can get anywhere. You can get at the 76 at the checkout. And yeah, it can be difficult for, connoisseurs and beginners alike to really be confident about what is in that product. So I love that you make a point to be transparent in your manufacturing processes. I think that is certainly noble and an important aspect to implement into your business practice. So yeah, shout out to that.
And I would add one more thing. Everybody in this industry is waiting on FDA ruling.
Yeah.
That is the thing that the CBD hemp industry is waiting on. And right now, without that guidance, without that set of standards, really that USDA certified organic seal is the gold standard at this point. And hopefully FDA comes around. They've been busy last year, right? We've had a vaccine to develop and other things that are a little more important, and we get that. But hopefully as that shakes out, FDA will come into play, lay out some guidelines for the industry, and it'll just get better in the sense of transparency, accountability, and those standards that are set.
So you mentioned a little bit about, the process into obtaining the USDA certified organic seal. What is then the process to maintaining that certification? Is it a thing where is it like a renewal sort of process? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, so, a little more in depth on how you get it, right? It starts with a signed affidavit that you've been chemical free for 3 years. And for us, we were buying a new farm, so we did some soil testing. We had the affidavit from the previous owner. We did some soil testing to confirm, and all that checked out before we closed on the farm. From there, you've got to get your application together. And it's a detailed application. You have to lay out your inputs, what you're planting, what ground is going to be certified. How are you harvesting? How are you storing? I mean, you really have to think through this beginning to end, which is a good thing. I mean, you should do that going into it anyway. Once your application is submitted, then you're going to be subject to inspections or audits to verify. And then once you kind of check that box, you're going to pay an annual fee. For us, we went through a certifying agency called CCOF. Highly recommend anybody that's interested, check them out at ccof.org. Yeah. There are numerous certifying agencies out there, but that's the one we went with. They've been great to work with. And I'll say at the end of the day, man, they want farms to be certified organic. They're not there to get in your way or to tell you no. Is to provide guidance on this is what you need to do. And there's also consultants. I mean, you can bring in outside consultants, people that are familiar with this. So there's resources available. There's even grants available if it becomes cost prohibitive. So the resources are there. If it's something you want to do, the path is there. And then once you are certified, to your point, it is an annual renewal. So every year we're filing a planting report, a harvesting report, a kind of a year-end report. It's again, subject to audits on that. We're going to pay the fee again based on the size of your farm and how much you're growing. And one thing that's important that I think people maybe slip up on sometimes is like, if anything changes with your ground or how you're growing or the products you're offering, you need to update your certification. So, if you're growing biomass, but now you decide you want to get into the oil game or you want to get in the end product game, you're going to have to go back and update your certification to encompass all those things. So, I know it sounds overwhelming to a lot of people, but it's one of those things, the first step's the hardest. Take the first step, use some of these resources, do your homework. What you'll find is the thought and the planning that you have to put into the organic certification actually helps your business along the way as well, because it forces some forethought that maybe you wouldn't have thought about without.
Yeah, for sure. Sense. It allows you to, like you said, sort of focus on things that you might have overseen or not even thought about focusing upon, and just highlights how every step of the process is equally important to reaching that quality end product. What would you have then and you both can share your perspectives on this. What is your advice then to a novice hemp grower who might be looking to get into the industry? What would be your advice for them, not only to get started, but to, in terms of choosing a good plot of land and putting that work forth to reaching that organic certification? What would be your advice to someone who's, for pun intended, budding in the industry and is looking to expand?
Yeah, so I would definitely say know why you want to get into the industry, know what your vision is, know what your mission is, and what your intention is. Why do you want to do what you're doing? Why do you want to grow hemp? Why do you want to be organic? I would definitely know that going into it, because you do hear about people getting to this industry because they hear it's very popular and it might be an easy way to make money. But the problem with that is this is such a powerful plant, and there's so much good that we can actually bring to this industry by doing things the right way, by doing things the way that, nature would intend for us to do it. So I would say know what your mission is, know why you want to do it, and definitely think about your team, build a team, because you can't do it all by yourself. You definitely are going to need some help. And yeah.
No, you're spot on. It's a team game. Yeah. It really is. Obviously we're in Nashville right now. I mean, our farm team is there in Colorado. They're doing some of the off-season stuff. We're handling some of the front office stuff. I mean, we have good synergy within a full team to make this happen. And to Chelsea's point, you hear about the green rush. Everybody's talking green rush, but this is not
right.
easy.
It's not easy. It's very difficult.
Farming has a lot of challenges, and a lot of them are out of your control. In addition to the team aspect and the intention aspect, be selective with your ground. Be selective with the environment, the climate, what's around you, maybe what was there before you. Really do your homework on the rules and regulations in this industry. They're changing all the time. It's a constant thing to keep up with that and stay ahead of that. Start with your harvest and work backwards. I think that's something that was told to us in the very beginning that maybe we didn't even fully understand until we got there. Yeah. But that's where this really becomes labor intensive and really becomes time critical and really becomes just a real critical aspect of the operation. That can be your greatest loss can happen at harvest. So really make sure you have a harvesting plan. You have a home for that hemp, whatever that means. And then work backwards from there to figure out how much you're going to grow and how you're going to go about it. And then the last thing I would say is understand the risk. Farming is a risky venture, just like any business, but it comes with its own set of risks. And don't risk more than you can lose. I mean, we've seen a lot of people, they go out, take on debt, different things don't work out. You can get upside down real quick. I mean, we're lucky. We have an awesome team of investors behind us who have been super supportive, even through some headwinds this year. We can't thank them enough. But really know that risk and understand what that, don't overexpose yourself.
Totally. And you just mentioned that, the nature of the industry is changing on a day-to-day basis, sometimes on an hourly basis. We don't know. Something might have happened just now. But how do you see that at all as, I guess, sort of an advantage in terms of navigating unprecedented times, such as, the events of the past year and just the very nature of being in the hemp industry? Does that cater itself to not sort of forcing you to be adaptable and to be quick on your feet and to be receptive to implementing broad changes when you need to?
100%. If you get into this industry and you are not flexible or willing to continue to learn and adapt and change with whatever direction the wind's blowing that day, you're not going to make it. I mean, you really have to, it goes back to the intention. You got to be here for the right reason. Because some of it could drive you a little crazy, I'll be honest. With the regulation and sometimes the lack of regulation and the lack of guidance. I mean, we're pioneering new industries, and I'm not saying us, I'm saying all hemp farmers, everybody in the cannabis space. I mean, we're developing a new legal industry for, really the first time. It's exciting, but it's also scary, and it comes with its own set of challenges. And it is a daily puzzle. There's something new to learn. And to your point, when you throw a pandemic in the mix and you're trying to figure that out on top of it, one day at a time, one step at a time.
Yes, indeed. Put one foot in front of the other. That's all we can ever ask for nowadays.
That's right.
And Chelsea, you mentioned that it's important to set an intention and to know why you're doing what you're doing. And that made me, I just so happened to, I wrote down an Instagram post that Vitality Farms had posted recently. The caption said, quote, "We believe that organic hemp is a lifeline for wellness. Just as the heart beats and powers our bodies to achieve their full potential, Vitality Farms aims to be your go-to source for high-quality hemp to help you live and grow." So for you two personally, what is that why? Where does that passion come from? And what does hemp mean for you two in terms of health and personal wellness?
Yeah, so Vitality, our name, Vitality Farms, it stems from wanting to bring vitality to not only our environment, right, in which we're growing, rebuilding our soil health, all of those things, but also being able to grow a beautiful product that ultimately can help people down the road and bring them also that vitality, that health, and that wellness that I know we all care about, especially during these times. I mean, we're in the middle of a global pandemic, and now more than ever, we're having to take a stop or take a break and think about our own wellness and, how this is all affecting us. And so for us, hemp is such a powerful plant. It's such an amazing resource. And that's why it's important to not only use it well, but, think about why you're doing it, or think about, how it can possibly help you.
Yeah. And I would add, Chelsea will never brag on herself, but I will. She is a nationally board certified health and wellness coach, and has been for some time. So health and wellness are at the forefront of her mind. And that's really her passion and her life's work. I think us, along with everybody else in the world, we know people that have battled disease, battled ailments, maybe didn't have access to some of the things that we have access to today. And I think, we're no different than a lot of people. Everybody's got that story, but we want to bring that to the forefront, that there is healing potential. There are other ways to deal with ailments and symptoms. And, with the FDA and the way things are, we have to be careful what we say. We're not going to make any medical claims whatsoever. Legally, we can't, but at the same time, do your own homework, do your own research. It's a very powerful plant, and I encourage everybody to take a look, learn a little more, and
no doubt,
give it a shot.
No doubt. And speaking of which, where can our viewers and our listeners keep up with what y'all are doing and keep up with all the latest at Vitality Farms?
Yes, so you can find us at vitalityfarmsco.com. You can also find us on Instagram at Vitality Farms. We're actually working on a brand new website right now. So shout out to Puff Creative. They're helping us with a brand new website. We're really excited about it. And you can also sign up to our newsletter as well. So go check us out there and follow us.
Yeah, for sure. Do that. Sign up for the newsletter. We got some exciting things happening in 2021. Not too many details at the moment, but we are going to get into some branded products and some things coming. So it'll be here before you know it. There's a lot of things going on in the background. We're really excited about it, and definitely give us a follow, give us a like, whatever that is to you, and
Nice.
stay in touch with us. Reach out. We're open to
That
talk
was
to
going
anybody
to be
anytime.
my closing question for you two before I let you guys go here was, what are you looking forward to for 2021? So you mentioned you have some secret plans going, not too many details now. We're just going to have to stay tuned, keep our eyes peeled.
Yeah, stay
Yes.
tuned. We're working out some of the finer details, and kind of just working through the market and the supply chain and figuring out how to best go about it. Some exciting things coming up. Working on obviously growing the farm. Again, getting back to some sort of normal would be nice. Hoping to maybe see some of your listeners, talk to some of your listeners at a trade show coming up in not too
That would be nice.
distant future.
That would be real nice.
So. But I mean it from the bottom of my heart. If anybody ever has questions about hemp farming or our business or our products, reach out to us on the web, reach out to us on social media. We personally are involved in that. So we are real people on the other side of those things with real answers, looking for real connection.
Yeah.
And looking
Love
to make
that.
a real difference.
Well, Chelsea and Josh Backman, hey, thank you both so much for sitting down and having this conversation with me today. Wish Abigail all the best for me. And hopefully
you.
once we reach some sort of semblance of normal, if I'm ever in the southern Colorado area, I'll definitely look you both up.
Please do.
Awesome. Yes. Please do.
Yeah, right on. Stick around just after we finish recording here. I just want to say thank you to you guys off air. But with that, please be well, continue to stay safe out there, and I wish y'all all the best.
Thank you so much.
My thanks again to Chelsea and Josh Backman for joining me. If you are a member of the cannabis community and have a story you want to share with us, we would love to hear from you. You can reach the show at hashitout@TRICHOMES.com. You can help others find the show by taking a moment to subscribe to the podcast and write a review. You can also join the discussion with industry insiders and get your voice heard by joining the community at TRICHOMES.com and following us on all social media. Hash It Out is produced by David Fortin and presented by TRICHOMES.com. I am your host, RJ Balde, and I'll catch you next time.